Hey everybody, Dennis here. I'd like to welcome our good friend Bronco from Nomad and Steve from Infinitive as well. We're here to talk about PPCS. Steve, if I could, can you provide just a very quick overview of PPCS?
Yeah, so PPCS, it's a bit of a mouthful, but what it even stands for is personalized premium content streaming. We also like to refer to it as sort of the super fan experience, but it's something that we partnered with Nomad here recently to really deliver to a lot of not only the media companies that we've been focused on for many, many years, but also, as we'll talk about, a whole lot of new industries. And it really goes back to anyone who's got video. If you have video, it's all about being very personalized, right? Providing a very personalized mobile app experience with then premium content. So it's for premium content owners so that people can engage with your content on your platform and not be going somewhere else. And then the last bit there is streaming. Streaming really took off over the last couple of years. And this is a way that everybody who has a phone now can really engage with you really in the ways that they want to. And that they stay engaged with you, across the board.
Great. Bronco, it's been great working with you and everybody at Nomad. Can you provide a little bit of thoughts of what makes the PPCS opportunity exciting from the Nomad perspective?
Oh, absolutely. Likewise. And I'm glad to be talking about this openly. So Nomad, we're a content and asset management system that's native to the cloud. But what we do is allow customers to manage their video assets behind the scenes. But how do you get those assets to the world? So when we collaborated with Infinitive, we now have a wrapped solution that allows not only customers to manage their assets behind the scenes, but now how do you extend out and engage with your end user customers to then monetize the assets? So with Infinitive sitting on top of Nomad in a cloud-based environment, by the way, we're also partners with AWS at an advanced tier. We're now leveraging all the individual components, all the services, including AI, as well as the scalability and the performance orientation of what AWS brings to the table, making that seamless integration from managing your assets from one end, all the way to the exposure and the distribution of those premium videos, so you can really make a rich environment or a rich experience and monetize accordingly. So that's what we see as an exciting next step. And by the way, because we have industry experience, all of us combined, decades and decades of experience in the media entertainment industry, we now know how to solve the challenges that most of our customers have in a very quick and efficient way. Combining Nomad as the backend platform, along with the technology solutions that Infinitive provides, we now can spin around a solution within a very short amount of time, days to POC, weeks to proof of concept, production in a month. That's the exciting bit.
Great. Steve, from your standpoint, I always credit you with having the vision around the PPCS application standpoint. You actually, made the connection with Nomad. What do you think PPS brings to the table for our clients?
Yeah,
and I think with Infinitive and Nomad do that.
Yeah, I think what it really brings into the marketplace is, again, it goes back to if you have premium content, one, it's going to now give you it's going to give your end users, your fans, the people who really love your content, it's going to give them a more personalized experience than what they can find in other places, right? Instead of going off to other platforms. I think it's the exciting things that have really happened around content and the ability to use AI that has really brought this, this ability to now have your end users being able to search and build their own streams. Think of it like a TikTok-like experience, but with your personalized content. But they also get to build off their own streams based on, who is in it, what is being shown in that content, even what is said. And you can go back not only with current content, you can go back to 30 years worth of archived content. And as long as you bring that up into the platform, we now are able to go and search off of anything in that video, and then they get to go in and build their own personalized streams. It could be 5, 10, 20 different streams of just specific sports or just specific players or just specific topics that they want. So it's going to give them a very personalized way of engaging with your content. I think, our bread and butter and what we've loved doing in helping a lot of large media companies has always been all around monetization. How do you use, the capabilities of the order to cash ad business in order to monetize this content? And I think what we're seeing in this case is you have new content owners. It became very, easy to create new video content. If you had a mobile phone, you suddenly were able to become a content creator and get it out there. Well, this is now a way for you to monetize it. So we bring, all the understanding of how do you bring monetization capabilities into this. So I think that's the next big thing is now that I have content, you might be shooting really, really neat new video that other people weren't able to see before, but now you can actually monetize it. And I think the last thing, which is exciting, I mentioned this a little bit, is it's about archived content. It's now an ability to take years of content, video that's out there that you've had just sitting, earning nothing, and people don't even know you have it anymore. So this is a way to bring it back in front of them, re-monetize, but also re-engage them with things that you created years ago, and now you can bring it back in front of them. So I think it's those three things.
So Steve, that's awesome. So let me make sure I understand. And to summarize what I think you said, we're enabling content publishers to have their own, essentially, for lack of a better term, their own private TikTok so that they can engage with their audience with their own premium content to enable brand loyalty, to increase brand loyalty and engagement, as well as develop their own community. Is that a fair statement?
Yep.
Okay, great. So Bronco, you said something, and I should have hit on it earlier because it was a big deal. We can get this up and running for folks in 4 weeks.
Right.
You said
Right.
that. So that's pretty impressive. How can that happen?
Right. And so that's why I was kind of pausing myself because I get excited about technology. One of the underlying challenges that most customers have is how do I take all these individual services? So we just touched on AI really briefly. There's also other buzzwords, personalization, recommendations. There's also pre-integrated needs to payment platforms, analytics, ad servers. What we've done behind the scenes, and that's why we're called a platform, we've now built our entire solution on top of all these services integrated ahead of time. So as a customer, I don't need to bring up an entire IT army to build it for me. We have all these individual services plugged in. So when we talk about AI, we're leveraging AWS services behind the scenes for recognition when we're talking about facial recognition or label detection. That's all done. So Steve just mentioned a massive archive library that people don't even know about. They have closets full of hard drives. Bring that into the cloud. We run processing against that. Now you're uncovering deep and rich information automatically without having to spin up 6 months of development effort just to make that service work. Extending out even further, recommendations and personalization, that's now also being driven by these AI services. Because we've built it all within a single platform, along with the Infinitive work that sits on top, it's now pretty much out of the box. I know that sounds kind of cliche, but it really is out of the box. The real responsibility is, what do you then fill the box with? Your content. Let the processing happen behind the scenes, let the scalability automatically then take over, because AWS really does scale globally, as well as the reliability and performance orientation of AWS. Let that happen behind the scenes. It's taken care of. Now you need to just dictate what your library looks like for the common user to experience.
That's great, Bronco. Thank you. So Steve, we've leveraged the capabilities of Nomad. That speeds it up dramatically. How might, when we engage with a publisher, what is the time frames to get things up and running from a pilot, from a scalable pilot to the robust, ready for prime time?
Yeah, so I think where we're starting with is there's a number of things that you can engage with around this. I mentioned a little bit about the advertising. Maybe that's something that you want right out of the gate. Maybe it's something that you're going to build up to. Maybe it's something you know nothing about. So there's some questions around, are we going to be building out advertising in the beginning or not? What are we going to do around even content curation? Is that something you want to bring in-house, or is that something you even want to use Infinitive and the Nomad solution in order to drive for you going forward? So there's a couple questions out of the gate. Where we start is within a 2-week time frame, we can have your content in the solution where you're able to walk the halls of your own company, showing this is what it's going to look like, and help make some of those decisions. From there, I think, sort of as we've gone through it, is within a month, you're going to have an MVP up and running. And then really it comes down to, how much customization are you looking for? Is what we've already provided, as Bronco has mentioned, out of the box? Is that where you need to start for going live? In that case, yeah, it really is. It's a 4-week time frame. But we can also customize this. Maybe you already have an existing app. Maybe you already have an audience that is engaging with you, but it doesn't have the video personalization and monetization that this solution brings to it. We can also build this capability into your existing app, and that customization, it's going to kind of depend on how far you need to go with that. But we do have the capabilities and the know-how of how to build it out quickly. So you're going to be up and running then, really within a couple of weeks, you're going to get to that exactly sort of what you need, whether it's in your app or whether it's using ours sort of out of the box.
Steve, if I recall, we just did a demo for a client, and it took us 3 hours to upload a couple dozen videos to create different, I think it was 12 to 15 different categories of videos. By categories, I think it was a university client that we were talking to, and it was categories of sports, and it was, football, lacrosse, golf, tennis, so you had different videos there. So we were able to splice the videos, tag them, and then we also had lectures and events on campus. So those are the different categories.
It's fascinating, right? All the kinds of video that you could bring together. It was really great.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool. And then really what it's about is then getting the video loaded up, and we have some auto tagging capabilities, but then leveraging Nomad's abilities, AI abilities, really makes it very easy and convenient to enable that personalization that you mentioned. So. Okay,
yeah,
so
that initial demo, anyone who wants an initial demo, I mean, we can have that up and running literally within hours. Even in the first conversation, if you want to see what this looks like, give us a call and we will set up that demo and be able to pull that in.
Yeah,
I do want to call out one thing around it that I think comes out in the demo is because of this personalization and the ability now to mix and match. Dennis, you were just saying there's different kinds of video content. There was athletics in that case. It was also lectures. It was also, bringing students and their experiences at the college, bringing all those different things together. It allows you to mix and match the kind of experience that you can bring. I think what we're finding is really exciting is really getting outside the box of how do people want to engage with your content. We've all sort of been, taught to engage with content in a certain way because it's always been provided to us. This now is also, we're seeing whole new things of how people might want to go through, say, even a whole, a 9 series with 10 episodes each, years long series. There are so many new ways that people can now engage with your content. And it's neat to see the creativity coming out of how, what's going to keep people really engaged with what you're able to provide.
Yeah,
just really quick, and to add to that, how do you give the customer, the company, the opportunity to pivot quickly? When you old paradigm is you bake in all this decision making within the app or the tag information. Now, because we've decoupled the front end experience from the back end, which is the content and asset management, you're now storing all that metadata, all that detailed tagging information behind the scenes. That allows you to make decisions very quickly. Within an hour, you're now completely recreating an entire new user experience based upon a new carousel, a new content type, a new category, without having to redesign the application altogether. Just simply create a new grouping of tags, and now you've created a completely different, let's say, topic for somebody to discover and experience.
Yeah, on that, Bronco, I was really excited. I was talking to a product manager. And so it's one thing to talk to the people who are, who care about the monetization or care about the, what they're showing. I was talking to a product manager and describing to them of the analytics that we can pull out around what are people watching? What are they engaging with? What are they liking? What are they disliking? But also when you then tie it to the metadata of which things, what, you know, between cats and dogs, what are they
Right.
watching more of? And they always thought that cats were the biggest thing with their fans, but it's ending up that these other, you know, through the analytics of the metadata, they're now identifying, oh my gosh, the data is showing us that as we go out and we're either going to license more content or we're going to create more content, this is the content that we should be creating. And to make it even stronger, when you then add in the analytics around the ad monetization, you start to bring in ad server logs. So you have that on impression data, and you tie that together then with metadata of what content, you get into this whole ROI case that the industry really hasn't had in much at all, of what videos are exactly driving down to the penny how much ad impressions. And it's great for product owners to know this is what we need to bring more of because our fans love it, and because it also makes us the most money.
So Steve,
Exactly.
let's go to that point. You know, let's talk a little bit about the industry and the opportunity and why we think this is a big opportunity. Can you share some thoughts on the digital, you know, video advertising marketplace?
Yeah, I think there's certain things that people were doing, say 5 years ago, where now, you know, there's the sort of the question of why now? Why is this even so much more powerful than what I believe it would have been, say 5 years ago? And a couple things happened over the course of the last, you know, 2-3 years. One, we had, you know, streaming went through the roof, right? We had a global pandemic that suddenly brought everybody online into streaming. There was a huge rise then in first party data, right? This is, we always see this as a login so that you can be tracking first party data. But it also was this whole explosion of, now it was easy that wherever you had a phone, you now could create a video, and the ability to put content online very, very quickly and easily. All those different things come together. And it also, probably one of the biggest things is how people consume video has also changed massively in the last 2 to 3 years. Not only are they streaming, but also I'm a little bit older, but my kids, that next generation, you know, how are they consuming content? They're consuming content usually in 6 to 15 to 30-second videos. And this idea of being able to watch short form, very, very quick, of what, you know, really it's, you know, what's been happening in our social media platforms. That's how people are consuming content anymore. Video is through the roof. So I think when you tie all those different things together, it's where we really saw this opportunity of, again, premium content owners. You too can now really deliver your content in a way of how the next generation and how people are really consuming it today in the short form, but also out of their pocket on a streaming device.
So Bronco, thanks, Steve. Bronco, you and Nomad, you engage with content owners and publishers daily. They're your customers. So what did you see? What did you hear from them that made you think this was a big opportunity?
They want to take back ownership of their video. So right now, the common problem is that they're sending out these videos through YouTube. We probably shouldn't say the word, but either way, they're allowing other platforms to take advantage of that monetization option. Take back control over your videos. And more so, how do I find those videos that I completely forgot about 10 years ago? It's been sitting on the shelf, metaphorically speaking, sitting on the shelf. I want to discover those individual assets so I can then turn them around either into clips or just new visual opportunities. Using the services that we now have in our hands, everything from AI to personalization engines to recommendations, we now finally have the capability all in one single platform to turn on all these individual options, all within a single environment. So now, unlike 5 years ago, where you had to stitch together all these individual pieces, like little Lego blocks, we put it all together. And now they're finally mature enough to we just turn it around, and a customer, as we were just mentioning, within several weeks, they can start to see the benefits of what they've completely forgotten about. Taking back that distribution channel through other, third-party mechanisms, control it all completely. within your own environment, and finally take advantage of the full monetization opportunities that are in front of you today.
Yeah, that's great. So, you know, and I know you guys know this, it's been neat for us to see not just your traditional forms of publishers and owners of content, but we're seeing universities through e-learning and athletics. We're seeing live event venues, houses of worship, healthcare and medical, hospitals, and of course, hospitality and travel, really seeing an opportunity to engage differently with their customers. And if they can monetize that content, they can, make even more money and generate more revenue. So,
Right.
all right. So,
Dennis, I want to
yeah, please.
add one thing of what Bronco was just saying there too, of the Nomad solution has made it so easy because of the base that they had already built out of these different Lego pieces that you were talking about. One thing that's exciting to me is that in now this one app, we are bringing together all the VOD, right? So it's all the video on demand, and you get to decide, do you want it to be SVOD or AVOD, and or tiers? Like, do you want it to be membership, subscription, or do you want it to be ad supported? Entirely up to you. But beyond that, we also then can bring in live channels, right? And it's so easy because of what Nomad had already developed. So not only can you have, here's all my videos and I can build my own streams and have all that personalization, I can also now, as the content owner, plug in then, here's live channels of live action that is also happening. You can watch it straight through the app. And then to even go to the next level, you can also bring in all of your own fast channels that you want to bring forward. So here in the hands, of the end user, they have all of these options of not only what do they want to watch, but how do they want to engage? Is it live? Is it a fast channel? If you're a channel surfer, you love fast channels. You don't want to poke and pick and try and figure out what video on demand is out there. You just want to jump into certain channels. And so we give you the ability to see that content in all three categories. And that was already all built in through Nomad. So it made it super easy to bring those three things together.
Point that you're bringing up, and then back to Dennis, your question to me, what do we see now as an opportunity? Well, before it was cost prohibitive. All the things that we're talking about, managing live channels, live streaming, that was cost prohibitive to do it in a single platform. Managing your entire library with all the AI services turned on, that was cost prohibitive. Managing all these fast channels, as well as in the name, premium, personalized premium content. Creating your own channels. As we all know, people want to create their own channels rather than be stuck in that rigid structure as a Netflix is. This is the only carousel I'll ever see. I want to create my own channel. I want to create my entire lineup of things that I want to watch. That all required custom development that took a really long time. And again, it was cost prohibitive. We've now consolidated all those individual components and features within a single platform along with Infinitive. Now it's finally affordable.
Great. Awesome. So, okay, real quick before we end, thoughts on, our ability to scale. One, it's great technology with Nomad. Two, it's, in strong business understanding, application development, industry understanding from Infinitive combined with Nomad's technology. And then we have our backbone, our structure, our infrastructure, of course, on AWS. And Bronco, you mentioned this a little bit. How does Nomad leverage AWS today?
We're native to the AWS cloud, or actually the ecosystem. So AWS being the technology solution that provides everything from CDN, meaning the distribution mechanisms worldwide, as well as the scalability and reliability. Because Nomad is an advanced tier partner, we can leverage not only all those services, but also the technology know-how behind the scenes. We truly are a partner with AWS. That takes it to a completely different level. We're not just selling AWS services. We really are an integration partner with AWS that then customers can take advantage of.
That's great. Well, Bronco, Steve, thanks for taking the time and sharing PPCS with everyone. I'd love the opportunity to demonstrate some of its capabilities to anyone interested. So thank you, guys.